Welcome to Love and Order, Module 3, Own Your Power. Let me pull up the slides for today. So in this module, we are clearing things out that are draining our power and also increasing those things that are sourcing it. So in this first lesson, we're really focused on things that source your power sources. So how we're looking at it is through daily practices so that you can source your power every single day and have each day be as powerful as it possibly can for you. So we are looking at 3 daily practices that you can integrate into your day. The first is the love list, which we have talked about in the last module. We'll talk more about how to incorporate that into your day during this lesson. Number 2, we're going to talk about bookending your day with gratitude. This might sound familiar to you. It was one of the components in the very beginning of the course in the introduction, where I discuss how you can get the most out of your course. This is a huge way that you can amp up your power, is bookending your day with gratitude. We'll go into that a little bit more in a bit. And number 3 is what I call your daily greens. And this is a practice that you can use as well. It's from my book, Green Your Heart, Green Your World. And it's a practice I do every single day to help me get clear and help me be strong, even when life throws wild things at me. So I know that it works. So I'm excited to share it with you. First off, let's talk about how we're implementing the love list, right? In the last module, we talked about how you create the love list itself. So if you're still in that place where you're not really sure what type of things to put on the love list, go back, rewatch that module, look at those lessons, and take some more time with that. If you're still unclear, please reach out to me through the client portal. I'm happy to answer any questions or support you. So this is a 5-step process to implement the love list. 1 is to create it. 2 is to make time for this. Step 3 is to practice and play with it. Step 4 is to have gratitude and rewards for every area in which you grow. Step 5 is your desired habits are built, and this allows you to release the undesirable habits, the habits that you want to be freeing yourself from. So let's talk a little bit more about each of these steps. Step 1, as I mentioned, if you need some support in that, please go back to Module 2, get some support, or reach out to me individually. Step 2, make time. You won't have time for anything on your list. You won't have time unless you make time. That's the way it is. Things will get in the way unless you're incredibly strategic and intentional about it. So I invite you to really look at your love list, what things are important for you to integrate into your life, and realistically look at your schedule and block off the time that is needed in a realistic way. I know that it's challenging. I know that a lot of stuff will come up for you. If you really need support on this, you are not alone. Please reach out to me. I'm happy to support you on it. We'll also go into all sorts of things around time management, relating to time, all things time and schedule related in the next module. So if this is super confronting for you, know that there's more that we'll get in depth with this. Step 3, practice and play. All right. Often we think of self-care practices or things that we're trying to incorporate in our life as work, things we have to do, things we have to check off. It's, we relate to it like this burden. So what I'd like you to do is, if that's your mindset, take it and try to switch it upside down and invite you to look at it with play. Like, how can I play with this? That's how kids learn, right? They learn through play. Can you look at this list and be like, I'm playing with this, right? How can I add that sense of play and adventure to those things? Number 4, gratitude and rewards for growth. So this is very important. It's incredibly important that as you go through implementing new practices, that you focus on all the areas where you're doing it right. So often we focus on, or my clients focus on the bad habit they're trying to break, and that's where their attention is. They focus their awareness on that, and that ends up just creating a whole lot of struggle, a whole lot of drama, and more of what they're fighting, more of what they don't want. So it is a shift, right? It is an awareness shift to look at things a different way. So focusing on what you're cultivating, and every time that you do it and you check that off, that you have done this thing, is good. It's positive. Don't be looking at the blank spaces, the negatives where you're not doing anything. Look at each time. Feel like each time you put a check mark next to that area is something to be celebrated, and one more step towards your ultimate goal, right? So it's important that you tie this to a reward. Give yourself a reward for accomplishing those things, right? That is how we get it ingrained in our system so that these things become natural. They flow, they become playful, they become, and there's an ease and a comfort to it. Step 5, desired habits are built which allow us to release the undesirable, right? So focusing on what you're cultivating rather than what you don't want, right? That's what we're talking about. We're focusing on building those habits, and the other ones will drop off. They will be released if that's how you've structured this. Now, you get to celebrate. Please celebrate when you've achieved it. Not, okay, check, moving on to the next immediately. That will come next. But please celebrate when you have achieved the things, and be prepared to receive. And receive, first of all, yes, the benefits of doing the things. Also, it's going to feel uncomfortable sometimes. It's a weird balance, right? It might become easier to do the habits on a daily basis, but you are, I mean, this is a term that I don't always love, this term, but I've felt it in my life, so there's a truth to it. This up-leveling, you're changing how you are living in life, and so that's going to switch things up for you. 2, bookend your day with gratitude. Now, I am a big fan of journaling. I love writing. It's fun for me. So if you are like that, 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes at night, just write 3 things that you were thankful for. It can be short and sweet. It could be a paragraph. It could be words. If writing's not your thing, you could do something else, right? You can take pictures of things that you're grateful for. You could say a prayer if you're more of a if you like to say things out loud. You could express gratitude in that way. You could create art or a collage or something like that. A really cool thing is to write things down that you're grateful for, and crumple them up and stick them in, or fold them up and put it in a jar. I've seen beautiful artistic expressions of gratitude in different ways, where it's writing, but it's very simple, just a few words, and make it colorful and beautiful. There's all sorts of different ways that you could express it. It totally changes your mindset. It totally changes the way you view everything in your life. So I strongly encourage you to get gratitude flowing through your life. It will change things radically for you. Daily Greens is a practice. This is in my Green Your Heart, Green Your World book. It's a 4-part practice. So you can take a few minutes every morning or anytime. I prefer to do it in the morning, and that's when I do it. But you could really do it at any point. Take a few minutes to free write. And the free write, it can be the bad, it can be the ugly, it can be torn up and never read again. It's just getting stuff out that feels like heavy or burdensome. Just write, let yourself write, let it get it out of your body. Let that free write come out, okay? The next thing you write is a greening practice. So this is everything that's going right and good in your life, in particular, things that you have been working on growing and building practices for, right? So your goals, and they can be really super small aspects of that. But anything that is evidence that you're heading in the right direction, write that here in this greening part. The third part is practice or action. As you write these components, right? You're writing things that are stressing you out. Then you're writing things that are where there's evidence that things are things are going on the right path. You might find okay, this leads me to this action that I would like to take today, or this leads me to something I want to practice today. I want to practice having more gratitude or kindness, or I want to practice being vulnerable or saying yes, or whatever the thing might be, right? Those are practice areas. Or action. Your action might be, I'm going to call 5 people and ask them for blah, 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 or whatever it might be. It might lead you to specific actions that you can write down and then check in on at the end of the day or the next day and see, okay, where'd it go? And fourth is an intention. So this is something that I learned from years of teaching yoga, setting an intention at the beginning of class, and it can be for the class or for the day ahead, right? There's so much power in just a word. Just pick a word or two and say, okay, this is going to be my guiding principle for the day, right? It might be love, it might be peace, it might be power, whatever it is. And you can pick that, you can write it down somewhere that you'll remember, and it will carry you forward through whatever you're facing that day. And that's Module 3, Lesson 1. So head on down to Module 3, Lesson 2. We're doing a really cool practice. It's called Tune In and Drop Out. I'll see you there.